Good day everyone, welcome to ITS 208 and CSC 209. This is Graphics and Visual Computing. Today we're going to have another pre-recorded class. This is in continuation to our previous discussions about graphic designing. And today we will be talking about the creative process. Be sure to watch the entire video, listen and understand the lessons attentively. After this class, there will be learning assessment and assignments to be posted. So my name is Juleus, your instructor. Let's get started. By the way, if you have any questions or clarifications, share it with the class. Comment your questions down to our Facebook group post, or you can send in your question through our respective Facebook chat groups. Now, previously we've talked about the introduction to graphics and visual computing, and particularly we've talked about what is graphic design. We've talked about the difference between a designer and an artist. We've talked about the do's and don'ts for graphic designing, and what do graphics designers do. Today, we'll only be talking about the creative process stages. The creative process. To become efficient and effective when producing graphic designs, most organizations and companies allow a team of highly creative individuals or designers who will be involved in researching, planning, and other processes in the development of graphic design. They are called the creative team, and the processes involved are called the creative process. Okay, so before a certain graphic design, or let's say poster or anything like that, will be released, there are some processes that needs to be followed by the creative team before an actual design will be launched. And today we're going to discuss each of those stages, each of those processes, that we will get the idea, we will be able to simulate it later on, how exactly a graphic design is produced. There are 6 common stages in the creative process. So we have briefing stage, followed by research stage, and then strategic stage, the development stage, presentation stage, and launching stage. So for the briefing stage, it is also called as the abstract stage. This is the first process involved in graphic designing. This is basically discussing with a client or a company about what they want and the point of reference necessary for the design. So in every graphic design that will be released, that will be launched, the first stage is to know what exactly are the design that we are supposed to do. Of course, it's going to be you and the client, or you or the customer. So obviously in this the creative stage is designing something which is for a company, for a client. After all, what we are doing here, what we are aiming for is to become a designer, not an artist, right? So again, the first stage is going to be the briefing stage. The first stage is about knowing what exactly the client wants and the point of reference necessary for the design. So what do you mean by point of reference? Okay, so let's take a look at the example that we have here. So this is just a example of the briefing stage, or the notes that most designers will get when doing the briefing stage. So what the client wants and the point of reference. All right. So here in this example, the client, which is Samsung, wants a digital poster for the upcoming launching of their newest product, the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. The poster should tease a main feature of the device. Okay, so that is the client's specification. They want a digital poster for the upcoming launching of their newest product. And what they want to be included on the poster, of course, the product itself, and they want to tease a main feature. So that is their specification. They want to tease a specific main feature of the product that will be included to the poster. And then another specification would be the dimension of the poster and the target working days, and then the format. And the designer gets to decide which reference feature to focus. Okay, so what exactly these reference features? So let's take a look at the point of reference. So usually, here's what's going to happen. Whenever you talk to the client and if they want something, they will provide you with the necessary information about the product or the service that they wanted to have a design to. So let's say, for example, Samsung provided you with this specification or this point of reference. So we have product's main feature, 108 megapixel quad camera up to 1100 times zoom. And then we have the product also features 128 gigabyte to 256 gigabyte MMC internal memory. And then the product also features a high screen frame rate at 120 Hz. And it has 6.9 inches Super AMOLED screen with Gorilla Glass 6 protection, and then 5000 mAh battery, up to 120 hours endurance test, and of course having a 5G network ready. Right, and the launch would be this, and the other information would be this. Okay, so these are the key features of the product. And again, going back to the client's specification, they want to tease a main feature of the device. So as a designer, your job is to select either of these features that the client provided and make it as the main feature of the poster. Okay, did you get the idea? Again, you're going to select either of these options or these point of reference, which part of these features would be your would be the center of attention for the poster. All right, we'll get to it in a few moments. All right, so that is an example of briefing stage, knowing what the client wants and the point of reference. Next, the research stage. While discussing with the client, we'll only give the designers the idea on what to design, when to present, the cost, etc. The designer needs to know more about the job they will be working with. Okay, so obviously, since what the client gave us would just be the information about the product and the product that we're trying to design for, it's our job to know more about the product that we are going to design. Not just the product, but the company that we are working with. So this may include looking into the competitors, the design trends associated with the company itself, even looking to the company's history and future direction. Okay, designers need to understand where the company is coming from and where it wants to go. This is to represent the company with the best ability that they can through their work. Okay, again, this time we are going to research on just about anything that will be involved in our design process. So again, this could include competitors. What are the products that the competitors are trying to showcase? All right, what are the possible competitors and how they are performing when it comes to the design, the poster, and everything else. All right, you can also look into the company's history. What are the previous designs that they've been doing? And then what could be the possible future of their designs? Okay, so again, as a designer, it's our job to understand where the company is coming from and where it wants to go to. Okay, this is to best represent their work through their products or their services through our work. Okay, because after all, once the design will be launched, it's not us who will be taking the credit, it's them. We are just working for them. All right, so in research stage, let us take a look at the previous posters for Galaxy S devices. All right, so we have here the Galaxy S7 Edge, and then let's take a look on the features that they are trying to tease. So we have everything what the phone can do, because this is the first time, I think, that the Galaxy devices will be given edge all throughout the entire models, right? The edge screen or the curved screen. Okay, the Samsung Galaxy S8, it says here about their feature. They're teasing about unboxing your phone. Maybe this is the time that they've included stuffs or freebies upon unboxing the phone when you buy the phone itself, something like that. And then take a look at the background. It showcases being underwater. So maybe this time the phone is already waterproof. Okay, this is time that they want the phone to be waterproof. So again, but just by looking at their poster, we can either see, or we've been teased with the product's feature, which is about being waterproof, right? And then the S9, introducing the Galaxy S9, the camera reimagined. So this time they are focusing more on the camera itself. Okay, so basically all of this can be found using the point of references that Samsung gave to the designer. And then although there are tons of main features available, then they only focused on the few things that, and then maybe focus on a few things and make it pop up or make it stand out. All right. So if you can see, going back to the posters, there's not much information about the product or the device, but we have idea what the design is capable of. So here, you think what a phone can do, and then boxer phone, the camera imagine. All right, it does not offer complete information about the device, but it gives us mystery. It gives us, basically it teases us what the device is all about, and that's what makes customers and perhaps um, viewers excited about the product. All right, so next is strategic stage. Strategy is developed by analyzing the data from the research and designing on the path and process for the actual design. Designers will start visualizing and input and designing what to be done for the actual development of the design. Now, strategic is where all the information or all the data gathered from the briefing as well as on the research will come into place. So basically, this may not be the stage where the actual design will be developed, but everything will be, kumbaga, strategized. So designers can start doing wireframes. When you say wireframe, these are the plans, how the design or how the poster should look like, how the graphic design should look like. Okay, so let's take a look at the example that we have here. Okay, so going back to the point of references that Samsung perhaps has given us. So we have here an example of a strategic wireframe. Again, this is just, let's say, a sketch on how the poster are going to look like. It does not show more. It does not show detailed elements yet. Again, these are just let's say sketches on how the poster is going to look like. Okay, so let's go back to our point of reference. So we have here 108 MP quad camera, 128 gigabyte, right? So we can either choose either of these main feature, and make it stand out. We don't necessarily have to include everything, because again, we are what the client want is to tease a main feature. We want our viewers, our audience, to be excited about a product, and if we're just going to put everything to it, then there will be no more excitement, diba? Because nahatag na tanan. So there has to be something. We just want to give the viewers at least and then perhaps one key feature of the device or the product that we are trying to sell, and then it would be up for the design, or it would be up for the actual launching to perhaps release all the information about the product. Again, to build up excitement. So here we decided to use this particular feature, being 5G network ready, since at this time, again, it was released 2020. At this time, 5G network wasn't really available worldwide. Okay, so this is going to be the thing that we're going to focus for the strategic stage. We're going to focus on the 5G network, and we will make sure that the 5G network will be emphasized. Okay, so that will be our theme for our design. So again, so we have here the let's say the phone. Of course, this is not the actual phone. This is just an illustration of where the phone is going to look like, or where the phone or the device, the actual phone, will be located. And then we want it that the 5G will stand out with bold letters, and then we want everything to be in a some sort of contrasting colors. So as you can see, we have black, everything's black, and then white color. So the contrast is great. Everything will pop up, and then we want the Galaxy S20 Ultra will be written at the top right corner, just like how they usually do it in the past. It's like that. Okay, they always put the model at the edge, if you can see. So we'll try to get that idea still. We'll try to copy that idea. Again, this is not actually copying. We are just setting up the trend or following the trend. Okay? And then instead of writing when, we're just going to put Okay. Although on the point of reference, we have the actual date and the location of the launch schedule. We're just gonna put it coming soon. That is to again to build up um, excitement to our viewers. All right. So this is just an example of a of the strategic stage. All right. It's not research stage. This is strategic stage. This is a wireframe. Okay. So actually, I did this using Microsoft Word. No other software being used other than just Microsoft Word. Okay. Here, this is just a box or a shape. And then this is also another shape. And then we have text. That's it. All right. So again, there are no need for an actual software for it to be perfect. Again, what we are trying to do with the strategic phase is to just get the idea on how the how the poster is going to look like, or the graphic design to look like. And then next is the development stage. This is the process where the designer finalizes the drafted design using the appropriate designing tools and ready for presentation. This part will allow you to combine and examine the knowledge you get from the previous stages. Now, once you're done with the sketch, or let's say the strategic wireframe, or the sketch on how the poster is going to look like, or the graphic design is going to look like, this is the time the development stage. This is the time that you're going to transfer everything using an actual software. And not just any software, it must be the industry standard software used for designing. So you can either use Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, or Adobe InDesign, depending on the kind of graphic design that you are doing. Okay? So this time, it's no longer inane, dili na siya kanang sketch lang. This time, you are going to actually develop or develop the design according to what you've learned from the previous stages. Okay, so let's take a look at the final poster. All right, so this is gonna be the final poster for Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. As you can see, it is almost similar, or it is the actual rendered version of our wireframe a while ago. So let's try to compare both of them. Okay, so you can see this was our strategic wireframe. This is how it looked like when we created it using, and when we are still under the strategic stage. And now that we are on the development stage, we make everything at, we basically develop everything that we've come up from our strategic stage. So we have here the phones, the actual phones, and then Galaxy S20 Ultra. And this time we've added a few tweaks to what we've added a few tweaks from our strategic wireframe and then removed something else. So let's say coming soon, we've removed it, but we can either just add it in a later time. And then we remove the Samsung. It's because our device already have Samsung word to it. Okay. So in the development stage, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be final. It is still once you've already designed a graphic design, the next stage is to launch. All right, or basically before everything else, you have to present it to your client, and if they decided to go through with it, then it is fine, right? Okay. However, it is not common. It's not uncommon, rather, that most of the time, whenever you're designing for a client, whenever you've done designing as maybe sorry, it's not uncommon that whenever you're done with a design, it will be approved right away. Once you've already submitted to your client, there are tons and tons of changes, modifications that are needed to be done until the client gets the actual design or will be satisfied on your work. So I used to work for online freelance designing, and then most of the time that I submitted the work, it usually gets 2 to 3 changes, modifications until the actual design will be approved by the client. Okay, because the client, they don't know anything about designing. We are the ones designing for them. Now, they can picture out what they want. However, they we don't have much when it comes to they don't have much visual skills, visual thinking skills, just like what we do. So they will only see the design if they see the design. You see what I'm saying? So maybe they have something on their mind. However, once they saw it based on what we did, that's the time that kana makaunaw na sila nga, uy, kanidi akong ganahan. I want this, I want that. Okay? And so your job as a graphic designer is to keep on changing, keep on adapting as to what would the client want. All right? And once they've already liked what you're doing, that's the time that we are going to proceed to the next stage, which is the launching stage. All the approved output will be reworked for finalization and gets produced as the final product. The designed output will be released and used for whatever purpose it gives. So once everything has been approved, all the tweaks, all the modifications have been approved, then that's the time that it will be launched and you'll get easy money. All right. So that is the 6 stages of creative process. So again, we have the briefing stage, where this is the time that you and the client is going to talk about what the client wants and then the point of reference. Next is we have the research stage, that is to learn more about or to get more information about the client, about the device or the service, or I'm sorry, the product that you will be working on. Okay, again, you're going to know the competition, you're going to know the design trends. Okay, what are the design trends by the time that you are doing the design, and what are the history of the 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 company that you are working for. Where are they coming from, and where are they trying to go to? Okay, so we have to research on that. Now the strategic stage, that is where you combine everything that you learned from the briefing and the research stage, make a mock-up or a wireframe out of it. Basically, just create a sketch on how the poster is going to look like. Then next is the development stage, that is actually developing your sketch, your mock-up, your wireframe into an actual design. So this would be using the industry standard softwares. It could be either Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe InDesign, depending on the kind of graphic design that you are doing. Next, we have the presentation stage. This is where we're going to perhaps convince the client on how that we've done a good job, and then every changes must be taken into action. Every suggestions coming from the client will be taken into action, and make sure that they actually love what we are trying to work for, or our work for them. All right, and then lastly, if everything has been approved, then the launching stage. Okay, so that's it. That is the creative process, and normally the creative process is not just one man job. Okay, so that's why we have creative team. Most graphic designs are not just done by one person. Most of the graphic design, especially for huge companies or huge clients, it must be done by a team, or the creative team. All right. So if you have any questions or clarification regarding the lessons that today, you may comment your questions down to our Facebook group post, or send in your question through our respective Facebook chat groups. Now, to assess your learning for today's class, kindly copy the link on your screen, or once I've already uploaded a copy of this presentation file, just click on this link. And then the deadline would be Monday, May 23rd or May 3rd, 2021 at 11:59 p.m. And for your assignment, please check our Google Classroom. The deadline would be Monday, May 3rd, 2021 at 11:59 p.m. Now, for your assignment, well, just to give you an idea, you're going to simulate the creative process. All right, so everything that we've done on this lesson, you'll also be doing it on your own. So I will be the client, you'll be the designer, and you'll have to simulate the briefing stage, the research stage, and the stage. Now, you don't have to worry about the development and the launchings because we haven't done any graphics designing lessons yet. We haven't done any lessons about using Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or Adobe InDesign yet. So just going to focus on the briefing stage, the research stage, and the strategic stage. Now, more information about the assignment will be posted through our Google Classroom soon. Okay, so again, thank you so much for making this part of the video. If you have any question or concern, please let me know. Okay, please keep yourself safe and God bless us all.